2-minute sprint? No. No. He's gonna try to walk forward. He's not gonna find a way to do it, and I'm gonna make him play my game, as I said.
Ilia Topuria arrived at his recent press conference with the sort of swagger only unbeaten fighters possess. Unfazed, poised, and unapologetically assertive, he did not beat around the bush when questioned about Charles Oliveira. It won't be a question of Charles's chaos to adapt to, Ilia told us, but rather about making Charles battle his game. He confidently declared Oliveira has never fought someone like him, someone who marries speed, accuracy, and strength with cold-blooded poise. Ilia promised to control every moment and break Charles under pressure on his terms. Not only is Topuria intent on taking down Charles Oliveira, but he's already planning past the lightweight division. Believing fully in his path, he reaffirmed ambitions to jump up to 170 pounds to take a second belt after he takes out Oliveira. This is no idle chatter. Topuria is detailing a blueprint to legacy. He made it plain that featherweight title is just one chapter of his book, and a welterweight campaign is the logical next step for a fighter who thinks he's meant to be great.
It would be much better for me to fight him in 170. And I will beat him and get the third title.
During another appearance in front of the cameras, Ilia delved further into his game plan to shut down Charles. He dissected it in classic Topuria style, accurate, methodical, and cold-blooded. He added that the solution would be neutering Charles's movement early and depriving any momentum the Brazilian attempts to gain. Ilia stressed chopping angles, having the fight in the center, and dishing out punishing combinations that will push Oliveira into desperation. This isn't surviving. This is overwhelming Charles and finishing him once and for all, he says.
If I will have the opportunity to submit him in the fights, of course I will go for it. But to be honest, it's not in my game plan to go for the submission. My game plan is to stay there, to take his head off, and if he wants to go to the ground and pull to his guard, I will go with him. I don't have any problem to going with him to the ground. So I could submit him, I can knock him out. Whatever I want, I can do with him. I know that he has the most finishes in the UFC history, but as I said, I feel that I'm much better than him everywhere. He fought with guys that none of them are named Ilia Topuria.
Fueling that notion even more was Ilia's latest open workout, which shook the social media world. Exuding razor-sharp striking, explosive movement, and precise timing, Topuria appeared to be a man on a mission. Supporters couldn't help but question, perhaps Ilia won't only win, perhaps he'll dominate. The manner in which he navigated combinations and coped with simulated pressure made even veteran fans take notice. With his speed, accuracy, and grace on full show, momentum is gaining quickly behind the Spaniard as he charges to the biggest fight of his life. And just when everyone thought the confidence couldn't get any higher, Ilia was seen standing with 2 championship belts, each shoulder proudly wearing one. It wasn't boisterous, it wasn't arrogant, it was strategic. A quiet but strong statement. This isn't hype. He really does feel he's on the cusp of being a 2-division champion. Every action he takes shouts purpose. From what he says to how he's training to the look on his face, Ilia is telling the world and Charles himself that he's not here just to compete. He's here to dominate.
How does he look with both belts? Honestly, we already did so many.
Charles Oliveira isn't victimizing himself in this narrative, though. In his own press conference, Du Bronx shot back with flames in his tone. When questioned about Ilia, Charles waved away the hype and referred to Topuria as just another name, just another fighter who'll crumble when there's actual pressure. He asserted that the octagon remains his domain, and that when the lights are bright, Ilia will find out precisely why Charles is the most lethal finisher in the division. Oliveira promised to beat him, mentally, physically, and conclusively.
You say that you're coming forward in this fight and you're the lion and you're going to bring the fight to him. He actually predicted that's exactly what you would do. Is there any part of you that thinks maybe I shouldn't play into what he expects, or does part of you think it'll be fun to prove that he can expect exactly what I'm going to do and I still manage to beat him at it anyway?
In reality, everyone knows it's going to happen. Is another dude that's talking that's going to fold in front of me.
Oliveira's pre-fight media workout just provided more substance to his words. Sleek, pointed, and economical, Charles appeared like a grizzled veteran in top physical condition. The punching was smooth, footwork keen, and the poise impeccable. Fans and experts both noticed his timing and slick transitions, tools that have demolished great competition in the past. If anybody doubted whether Charles was done, his fight put paid to it. The ex-champ was ready, prepared to take war to it, prepared to remind everyone who reigned supreme in the lightweight mayhem. Contributing his opinion to the debate, Chael Sonnen recently weighed in on the impending battle. With a reputation for calling things as he sees them, Chael made his position absolutely clear. He's backing Charles Oliveira. Sonnen referenced experience, toughness, and the amount of competition Charles has already bested. In his opinion, Topuria is a threatening upstart, but Charles possesses an unpredictability and fight IQ that can't be learned. Chael stressed that Charles has faced every look there is and feels that if Ilia underestimates the chaos, he will be consumed in it.
I saw Charles fight, and I was right up close. I was right up there. There's Dana, where you can see that, right? Dana's at that table. Oop, I'm one behind. So I'm in really good seats. But it changed everything. Seeing Charles that close. By the way, it was a fight that Charles lost, but I came out of that, and I got it. I totally got it. It was against Sarukian, and Charles was trying to win the whole time. Charles tried to strangle Sarukian. He was losing the fight. He never quit trying to win. He strangled Sarukian. He almost had it, and a scramble ensues. I mean, it was just this awesome battle. And I left there a Charles fan, but I also left there a Charles believer.
Alexander Volkanovski had an opinion regarding what he anticipates from Charles Oliveira's strategy. Volk, an insider who has experience being in the deep end with the best of them, believed that Charles is most likely to come out with an aggressive pressure blast game to disrupt Topuria's flow early. He thought Oliveira's best bet is to get messy, initiate a firefight into Ilia's face, and see how he handles when things don't go his way. Volkanovski thinks Charles will look to strike at Topuria's poise and try to shake the up-and-coming contender out of rhythm.
Man, Ilia's powerful. His early chance is knocking me out. I'm not going to give it to him. I might press and look for that takedown, grab a hold of him. I'm bigger, I'm a lightweight. Does he approach it that way? Doesn't even, because a lot of times with Charles, even though he backs his grappling, he will always strike first, then grapple, if that makes sense. So he put himself in danger and be aggressive on the feet and then grab a hold. Will he not do any of that and just shoot? Be more defensive till he shoots for the takedown? We will see.
Not everyone's counting out Ilia, however. Robert Whitaker also shared his take, and he didn't dance around it. He thinks Ilia Topuria is simply different. For Rob, there's something about the way Topuria moves, talks, and fights that just feels like it's going to happen. He recognized Charles's experience and rewards, but referred to Ilia's cold ruthlessness as a rare and deadly asset. Whitaker reiterated that it's not merely about ability, it's about timing, momentum, and faith. And currently, Ilia Topuria could possess all three on his side.
Obviously, Charles Oliveira is a weapon of a fighter. I'm a big fan of his. Big fan of Ilia as well, but I love Charles. Who doesn't? Who doesn't love the story that he has? Okay, the heart that, like, he used to be such a quitter in those early days of UFC, and he just stopped quitting. He found something in him and came back with a vengeance all the way to the title to become champion.
Michael Bisping stepped back to consider the grander picture, detailing just how much is on the line for Oliveira. This isn't merely another bout on Charles's resume. It's possibly career-changing. Defeating an unbeaten wrecking ball such as Topuria wouldn't be a win. It'd be a resurrection. It would demonstrate that Oliveira is still among the best and still possesses what it takes to reign supreme. Bisping noted that this isn't about rankings. It's about legacy, redemption, and silencing the roar of a surging contender who wants to take everything Charles once fought for.
A bit of tension building between the two of them. And if I'm just engaging, I'm loving this because Topuria wants to fight for the belt and he's going back and forth talking about Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira's already been beaten by Arman Tsarukyan and by Islam Makhachev. So for Charles Oliveira, this might be the path back to fighting for the belt. to getting a rematch with Islam, because I'm not sure that Charles Oliveira right now is the guy that gets the title fight.
Even Paddy Pimblett has thrown his support behind Topuria, adding another unexpected layer to the growing wave of momentum. Paddy, known for his brash style and outspoken takes, has publicly sided with Ilia. That sort of support only fuels Topuria's momentum heading into the bout, with fans and opponents alike beginning to regard Ilia as not just a challenger, but as the next big thing. This fight has an electric atmosphere. It's obvious now. Topuria's no longer the underdog. He's the favorite walking into the flames in many people's eyes.
Do you think Ilia beats Charles then?
I think he might, to be honest. Charles is a bit chinny, isn't he? You know what I mean? He's had about 40 fights or something. He always gets punched. He always gets cracked.
Yeah.
So,
he's reckless, but he's super exciting.
Yeah, he is.
And he's dangerous.
Exciting. If he gets him down, I can see him winning, because that £10 difference is a big difference.
Yeah.
145 to 155, it's a big difference. People don't understand that because they don't watch the sport or they're not involved in the sport. But that £10 makes a big difference. And especially, like, Charles is like my height. Ilia's like down here when I stand up, know what I mean?
Henry Cejudo served up one of the cleaner assessments, asserting Oliveira will have to make real changes to have a hope. Cejudo cautioned that Charles can't bring the same game. He'll have to adapt if he's going to make it. It isn't about skill, it's about flexibility. The game is evolving, Cejudo said, and Topuria is that evolution. If Oliveira is not going to grow with it, he becomes a stepping stone. That pressure makes this more than a battle. It's a clash of styles, of generations, of futures impacting.
The who's at 155 pounds. I mean, everything absolutely changes, man, with Charles Oliveira taking down Michael Chandler, with Charles Oliveira taking down Justin Gaethje with those beautiful double legs. But I will say this, when I think of this fight, I always think of the distance that Charles Oliveira brings, and particularly he likes to be in close. And the fact that he likes to be in close with an inside fighter, it doesn't make sense. And that was one thing, the person that needs to make adjustments in this fight, typically you would say the lighter fighter, the smaller fighter going up, but not really. Charles Oliveira has been dropped by just about everybody that he's fought, from Chandler to Gaethje to Islam. I mean, what happens when you go up against a dude that's knocking people out, not TKOing people, knocking people out cold like Ilia Topuria? So when I'm looking at this fight, I'm saying Charles Oliveira is the guy that has to make those adjustments. If not, it's going to be the double champ. It's going to be Ilia Topuria securing himself as a 2-division world champion.
Joe Rogan weighed in, labeling Ilia Topuria one of the most engaging and well-rounded contenders in the UFC today. For an old dog like Rogan, who's witnessed generations come and go, those are words not given carelessly. He underscored Topuria's work ethic, upper echelon skill set, and how well-rounded he is already at such an age. Rogan thinks Ilia's combination of pressure, striking, and grappling make him a special breed in today's stacked lightweight pool. When someone with Rogan's stature speaks that way, it's time to take serious notice.
And Ilia Topuria is one of the absolute best fighters in the world. The dude is just phenomenal. One of the things that's phenomenal about him is his technique. He just sees that hand coming towards him and he's ducking. It's all like slight slips away, and it's slight motions, which is all you need to get away from a punch, right?
But at the end of the day, in spite of all the hype, all the predictions, and all the competitive flames, this is a professional fight with no ill will behind it. A recently published video caught Charles Oliveira and Ilia Topuria running into each other, and instead of tension, observers saw respect. The two engaged in a cursory but polite exchange, a nod to the reality that this is not a grudge fight, it's an upper-level bout between top-level fighters seeking greatness. It was a reminder that under the ferocity, both men know the warrior code and the dignity of entering that cage. And that's the story heading into one of the most anticipated clashes in the lightweight division. Two elite warriors, no bad blood, just pure competition at the highest level. Will Ilia's rise continue, or will Charles remind the world why he's still the king of chaos? Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay locked in. We'll be covering every angle, every update, and every moment leading up to fight night. This one's going to be special. Thanks for watching.